Hey, welcome to another Human Design and Business Q&A session. Today's question is a bit of a two-pronged one, and one that I am so glad that this lovely person asked. So basically, here is that question. Hey, I'm a 6'2" sacral MG and have felt for some time that narrowing my focus to a niche wasn't right, despite all the pressure to do this by non-HD literate marketing gurus. I'm grateful for the confirmation that an MG doesn't have to do that. So this is a question that was left on a video, and I will link to the video so that you can see why they're saying that. And then the question is basically, could you do a follow-up video on what that looks like when it comes to marketing to a broader audience? So I'm grateful for the question. And I think it also just comes down to what it really means to be a manifesting generator, because I think sometimes we think it's got to be done a certain way. And the way that we approach business as MGs is very unique. We all do things differently. And so it's not so much about how do you market to a broader audience, it's what are you doing to follow your gut? That's it, right? Anything that you do is always going to be correct if you're following your gut, if you're following strategy and authority. So here is how I approach it as a sacral MG. When it comes to, niching down, I certainly don't. I have a couple of different niches, and this is how I kind of balance those two. So I am obviously human design. So I talk a lot about human design. I talk about human design in business, all of those things. But there's a chunk of my audience that doesn't really care about human design. So for me, I have two individual YouTube channels, one dedicated to human design and business, and one that doesn't really talk about human design. It talks about alignment because I do still believe that whether you're on the human design bandwagon or not, we can still do things in alignment. We can still trust our body and trust that we do things that are just easy and fun, right? So that's kind of how I balance those two, is by having a couple of separate channels to manage that. And this is why it's not actually about marketing to a broader audience, because we should never be being broad, because we're not. And so this is where niching down does come in, but not in the sense of you have to pick a niche and stick to it. It's more you can have multiple niches, but just know and understand that you will see the best results when you speak to the ready to buy customer for each offer that you have. And that's the way that you niche down, is by doing it by customer and by offer. So anything that I do from a human design perspective, right? So anything that has a human design layer into it, I have a segment of my audience who are clearly into human design, and I only talk to them about that, those offers, right? Those offers are only ever presented to people who have shown an interest in human design. The rest of my audience doesn't see any of those until such time as they do kind of raise their hand and get tagged in that way. So I still sometimes present things in a certain way that then tags people. So this is very much about you understanding your audiences, then segmenting so that you are really customizing things based on each individual person that you're looking to get in front of. This is why I walk through a process called the Tangible Offer Framework. And it's a document that I use for every single offer that I create. And the very first question is, who is the target customer for this offer, right? Who is that person? What is it that they're struggling with? All of those things. And this is where you really can niche down. And this also funnels into why you always want to be speaking to your ready to buy customers in every piece of marketing that you put out there. So I hope that that helps you kind of understand that. So if you are interested, I will link to the Tangible Offer Framework document below. You can go and check that out. And it really walks you through 8 questions to help you craft an offer that your ready to buy customer is an easy yes for them, right? It's easy for them to go, yeah, this is exactly what I need, because it 100% aligns with the thing that they're looking to get. So it's not so much about marketing to a broader audience, it's more about getting clear on what it is that you're actually looking to put out into the world and who the audience is for each of those offers. Now, I also want to just touch on the fact that, I have an overarching audience, which are creative entrepreneurs, right? If I choose a bucket, that's what that is. But within that bucket, there are definitely nuances to that. And so when you are wanting to do any type of marketing, you can, of course, market to everybody in your kind of overarching audience, knowing that you also want to give people the opportunity to self-select. So there's lots of different ways that you can do that. I personally do this in my welcome sequence. So the very last email that someone receives in my welcome sequence has segmentation piece in there. And I'm only segmenting into based on 2 offers right now. You could do this even more with your long form content. I've done that in the past, but I'm at a stage in my business where I'm really focused on evergreen selling. So in the last email that people get in the welcome sequence, there is a question. Are you this? So let me show you that, because I think that will also give you some ideas around what that kind of looks like. So this is my current welcome series, and there are 3 emails. The very first email is just, hey, this is who I am, and I do a video because that's what works for me. And then it's a very short email you can see here, and I just encourage people to unsubscribe if they don't gel with what I'm saying. Then the next day they are getting a surprise. Here's something for you to do, take action. That's what I'm encouraging them to do. But this is the email where I start to segment. And again, depending on your own email platform setup, depends on how this works. So basically, I'm asking them 2 questions, and I say to them, hey, I have got 2 email series where I'm going to share very actionable strategies with you every week on a Tuesday and a Thursday. So this is an evergreen sales sequence, or an ever selling email series that goes out. And this series is ongoing. There's no end date to it. So the first question that I say is, the first email series is all about helping you grow your business to 1K consistent income while getting your email list to 1,000 engaged subscribers. If this sounds like you, there's nothing that they need to do, right? They'll automatically be added to that in the next 24 hours. And I have a automation set up that does that. However, if they gel with the next email series, which is the second email series, is going to help those of you who are making 2K or more per month in your business. And this series will share advanced strategies on growing and scaling your business. If that sounds like you, click here to get started. And then when they do that, they are tagged a certain way. So both scenarios result in a tag being applied, and then them starting on the ever selling series where I'm nurturing and selling to my audience. So when you're sitting down and kind of mapping out this for yourself, you just want to think through, if I'm a manifesting generator and I have multiple interests and I have multiple businesses, am I segmenting and allowing people the opportunity to segment themselves? How can I do that in a simple way inside my email platform? Because honestly, this is the easiest place for that to take place. So hopefully that gives you some ideas around what that might look like. And if you are watching this and you've got a question, make sure to drop that in the form below, or you can just comment on this video with any questions that you have, and I will feature it in an upcoming video. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will chat with you soon. Take care.